pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a roll call.
Richard Sear.
Here.
Christopher Gray.
Here.
Daniel Haggerty. Here. Ronald Murphy.
Here.
John Snyder.
Here.
Steve Thomas.
Here.
Derek Wood absent.
At this point of the program would be public comments of things that are not on the agenda. Anybody wants to speak right up at the podium?
Greg Newell, 40 Stage Road, Hermon. Chair, councilors, Mr. Berry, individuals made comments about the IT report. My guess tonight, some might talk about this afternoon's technology subcommittee meeting. 4 things that were mentioned at the last time meeting. MSLN, this is good news. Yes, it's only taken 2+ years. New IT personnel to get in place. Inventory, they're waiting for the summer. Not sure if that's a good time. That's when projected time frame to fix all the other issues. They bought a new firewall, even though they spent thousands for a service plan for the old one several months ago for a 1-year plan. New firewall was only between $15,000 to $18,000, and they also bought an additional 5-year support plan around the same cost. They bought new servers, great. They said high-end Dell servers run between $1,000 and $50,000 plus each. My guess is they were around the $35,000 mark for each one. So this is what you're not seeing or hearing. They supposedly did bids for the firewall and server, but it was not seen by the technology committee and was not approved by the full school committee. Technology committee has not seen any plan because it's not completed yet. They're buying equipment that won't be in place potentially for months. They do not follow the school policies on purchases. This is how we got into this bad IT problem that we're in now, because there was no oversight, no plan on how to fix it. They're just buying more equipment in hopes that's the right thing to do. My guess is if anyone in this town office spent almost $75,000 to do this without approval of this council, you'd all be very upset. But people are so happy that the school admin are doing this. It doesn't make sense to me. Here's the good news, because people want to hear good news these days. I'm so proud and amazed by our teachers. They've been struggling for years with IT issues, which the school admin and committee have ignored. They try to do simple things like casting from their computer to the TV screen. Doesn't work. No internet service, having to change plans on the fly because IT equipment they're using stopped working. These are amazing teachers that overcome these obstacles all the time and are still able to get the lessons taught. Thank you, teachers. I'm so sorry you've having to deal with these IT issues all these years. I'm so proud of our students who have to wander the hallways over the years because they can't get Wi-Fi access, or taking tests on their computer, losing internet access, having to take the test again. The list goes on. Again, thank you, teachers, students, for putting up with all the IT issues over the years, because the administration and school committee ignored the IT problems in this school district. I'm so proud that you're all able to overcome these obstacles. Thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing none, we'll move on. I have a motion to accept the consent calendar as written.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Kristen, will you vote?
Richard.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Danielle. Yes. Ron.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
And Steve.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next we move on to public hearing. Hold a public hearing for the solar moratorium ordinance. Anybody has any? Probably ought to put my speaker on at night. Next up is a public hearing for the solar moratorium ordinance. Anybody wants to say anything, please step up to the podium.
Greg Newell, Hermon. I just want to thank the counselors for all coming to the planning board meeting. I thought it was a very good discussion. I think there's still more issues to work through, but I appreciate you all taking the time out, coming down and working with us at the planning board. I appreciate it. I'd like to thank Joseph. He's probably the main person that's been working this really hard. He's great. We couldn't do it without him, and I hope you all thank him also. Thank you.
Terry, do you have anything you want to say?
I will say also, I went to the planning board meeting and did a presentation. I looked at the material, I thought everybody had done a terrific job doing the research on everything, covered all the bases and everything you could think of. And what I delivered apparently already been thought of because somebody here said what I said was correct, so I appreciate that. So I think that the planning was really looking at it closely. I think they've done a really good job doing the research and trying to figure out what's best for our town, over the long run. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. All right, we'll close the public hearing at 7:06. I don't know if you got the time when I started, Krista.
7:04.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to new business. 023-2405 is to consider enacting an ordinance for the Hermon Code of Ordinance titled Utility Scale Solar Facilities Moratorium Ordinance. Somebody make a motion for that, please?
So moved. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Kristen, I don't know, so I want to read some rules. I don't think I have to. Does anybody have any further comments on it?
It might be just helpful to summarize what's in the moratorium as far as the time frame. I don't know, Josh, if you know that. Yeah,
The timeframe on that, does it run out when our other one runs out?
This will extend, this will be basically starting a moratorium from tonight. So
Okay.
180 days to what we previously had. It is also changing, we had some language in there about 1 kilowatt threshold and beyond was not allowed. This brings it back down to half an acre, basically just pausing all commercial solar farms at the moment until the ordinance is
It's in
enacted.
1 kilowatt, I think, 1 megawatt.
1 megawatt. Thank you.
It says, shall take effect 30 days after passage, so 30 days from today.
Correct. Yeah. Our current moratorium is still in place. So all the moratoriums, just like any ordinance, it actually takes 30 days after adoption by the council to take effect.
Okay. Anybody have anything else? First up, we have a little.
Richard?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Danielle? Yes. Ron?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Steve?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next we have is R 23-24-15, which is consider appointing an authorized person for the business partnership initiative with Maine DOT on behalf of the town of Hermon and C&K Variety, which is now Fox Dahlia Marketplace. This was tabled from 10/12/23. You want to give us an update on that, Josh? if you
Yeah.
want?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the council. This is just allowing us to proceed with the partnership agreement that we discussed with Maine DOT and Fox, formerly C&K.
So where are we on that right now? What are we waiting for?
This is, so we have all the figures in place, or at least we have ballparks enough to go ahead and pursue this project. This is just authorizing us to do so.
Okay. We'll read the resolve on it. Be it resolved by the Hermon Town Council and Town Council assembled that Scott Perkins be appointed as an authorized person to apply for a business partnership initiative with the Maine DOT on behalf of the town of Hermon and C&K Variety, known as a Hot Belly Marketplace now, for a project to assist with completing items located within the public right-of-way of US Route 2 and Village Road, identified as C&K Variety Maine DOT traffic movement permit.
So moved.
Moved and seconded, any further discussion? We have a vote, Kristen?
Richard,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Danielle? Yes. Ron,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Steve.
Yes.
Alright, next up is our 23-24-16. Consider appointing members to the Charter Ad Hoc Committee, table from 2/15/29. I'll read the resolve on that. Be it resolved by the Hermon Town Council and the Town Council assembled to establish the Hermon Town Charter Review Ad Hoc Committee. Said committee is to be established for the purpose of reviewing the town's charter and provide guidance and recommendations for the updates on Article 4, Town Manager Section, Article 6, RSU Agreement, and Article 7, School Validation Vote, and further authorize the town manager or his designee to select members for said committee. Be it further resolved that the members of the committee will serve at the pleasure of the town council until such time the town council dissolves the committee, and membership of the committee approximately February 24 through May of 24.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded, any further discussion?
Yeah, at the last meeting, I recommended that the members of the community that were interested, the council should actually vote on. I know there was a list that was provided before the meeting tonight, and I am concerned that there are 3 residents that have invested a lot of time supporting the town, the council over the years, and I don't think that they're on the list. And for that reason, I think the motion should be amended to allow the council members to vote on who is actually going to serve on this committee.
Personally, myself, I don't believe the town council should be put in a position to pick and choose here at this meeting.
We're
I
elected
think
to,
in the long, we've always had the town manager pick all the people we thought should be on there. That's how we set up I think, in the history of Hermon, that's how we've always picked these little boards to do these little things, so.
one of the people that's on the list didn't even present at the last council meeting.
So this resolve's been moved and seconded.
Say that again, please.
The resolve has already been moved and seconded for the way that it's read. Hearing no further discussion, I call for a vote. Kristen?
Richard,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Danielle? Yes. Ron,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Steve.
Nope.
Alright, next up is R 23-24-17, consider scheduling a public hearing for the comprehensive plan. And I'll read the resolve, on that be resolved by the Hermon Town Council and Town Council assembled to authorize and schedule a public hearing to consider the comprehensive plan on Thursday, March 14th, and that's been changed to April 25th, 2024.
Is that a regular meeting?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
So moved and second, any further discussion? We will vote, Kristen?
Richard,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Danielle, yes, Ron,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Steve.
Alright, next up is to R 23-24-18 is to consider appointing Scott Perkins to be an authorized person to apply and administer a USDA Rural Business Development Grant submitted on behalf of the Penobscot Snowmobile Club for trail grooming equipment. Now I'll read the result. Be it resolved that Scott Perkins be appointed as an authorized person to apply for and administer a USDA Rural Business Development Grant submitted on behalf of the Penobscot Snowmobile Club for trail grooming equipment.
So moved.
Second.
Moving second, any further discussion? We will vote, Kristen?
Richard,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Danielle, yes, Ron,
Yes.
John,
Yep.
and Steve.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll move into workshop discussion on the budget. Josh?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the council. I provided to you tonight just a brief summary overview of our municipal budget. I thought and was hoping tonight we could kind of just have a general discussion on where we're going with the budget. We're still early on as far as forecasting our revenues. This does have a soft forecast of that revenue. But I will say these numbers, both expenses and revenues, are subject to change. So just generally, I broke this down into the cost centers that we typically look at and approve by, with the overall change, whether it's increased or decreased. And then the second page is just a brief breakdown as to the increases or decreases in line. So really just looking to have a discussion tonight on these cost centers and answer any questions you may have. Just to talk briefly on a large decrease in the economic development section. That's a large road project that we've had on the books for a couple of years that has come off this year. Let me start from the top, actually. And there are copies of this. Well, that's all right. There are copies of this in the back if anybody wants to grab and follow along. Right now, proposing an increase in the overall general government section, about $83,000. We've increased our proposed legal budget. We've increased our proposed audit amount for this next year coming up. IT costs we've increased. We also have in there 3% cost of living for employees. I mentioned the economic development, large road project coming off the books. Public safety, right now, I have in there as an increase of $242,205. And in the second handout, you'll see the larger breakdowns cover most of that increase. I want to point out police and our sheriff's contract, where I've been in discussions with the sheriffs over the last several months, and they are countywide looking at a schedule change for their, really for everybody, for the sergeants, the deputies, and everybody involved. They're going to a 4-day work week, so they've been working at this quite a bit to try to figure out what was going to work best for us as the town to make sure we don't lose our coverage. So part of the discussion is with our current staffing. We have 3 deputies and a sergeant assigned to Hermon. With their new schedule, we're potentially losing Sergeant Decker, who I consider really one of our staff. He's here most days during the week. It is our regular contact. And with this schedule change, that may change too. And we may not necessarily have a sergeant during the day all the time, and hopefully it's Sergeant Decker, but that could change as well. So part of the discussions with the sheriff department is potentially adding in another deputy to the Hermon rotation. And if we were to do that, that would allow Sergeant Decker to be here at his normal Monday through Friday schedule. So I put that in there just as an option. That's the increase in that line item, so just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that.
So next to police, the $127,900 increase, that's not just the contract going up with it. That's including.
That is right.
That's including putting another man on?
Correct.
How much did the contract go up this year? Just out of
I believe it was 3%,
3%?
roughly. I think it goes up 3%, pretty much annually. So that includes that 3% increase and an additional deputy to that. And I know we've received a lot of feedback from the community in regards to coverage in town. So I thought this would at least be a good option to discuss and let you know that it is available. And the Sheriff's Department has assured me there is no issue with staffing these positions. So find somebody to fill the spot would be easy.
So when they change their schedule, we're still gonna be covered for the same, it's just the guys that work
Right.
4 days
Yeah.
instead of 5 days.
Yeah.
But
And
we're
they've
gonna
been
be covered in
very-
the same kind of hours
Yeah.
that we have been in the last few years.
We probably wouldn't, overall, we wouldn't notice a difference in coverage.
We
But
just noticed that Gary wasn't around.
We just.
But that-
Gary's on.
Well, right.
That's what.
And that's a great point. That's what we would notice that again, with the new, potentially, we would not have Gary around. And it's not just for me, it's every week we're asking Gary for help on something. So it's just, Bobby Pelletier, set the bar quite high, and Gary's delivering on what Bobby used to for us too. So, we've just become very accustomed to that, and all departments did that. It's just nice to have that contact.
Help us out, Gary.
So that's the reason for the large increase in that, the police line. The fire line, we've had to adjust salaries with the hiring of the new fire and EMT professionals. We, not necessarily cut, but we made some adjustments this year. We had some very qualified candidates apply for the positions, so we actually started them higher than what we had budgeted for the salary positions. We offset those costs by reductions in other areas of the budget. So this accounts for that, as well as the additional supplies and equipment. We've had a new medical director come on. We used to get it for almost free. We've had a new medical director. It's going to cost us, I think, an increase of about $7,000 overall, which we have to have to operate the EMT service.
What's the overall cost again?
The overall cost, I think, was an increase of about $7,000, $6,000 or $7,000. I'd have to look at that to make sure, but training, equipment, supplies, wages, and medical director account for that increase.
Yeah.
And then just the other larger item under that was just utilities and maintenance. One maintenance item being this heating system that we seem to be working on.
Is that why it's cold in here today? You're trying to get us to
Well,
cough up $15,000?
I think we should bring a fire pit.
well, we just happened to have our senior lunch here today too. The rec department puts on a senior lunch, and we had it here, and that door opened 100 times today at lunchtime, and it cooled down pretty quick. And with radiation, as we all know, it just doesn't recover very quickly. So we're looking to improve that. Any questions so far? So I just
No, I think you're good,
keep
Joe.
on going?
Yeah.
Public Works, we're seeing a decrease, at the moment, so I'm not gonna recommend that we staff at the 3 full-time positions that we were, last year. As we all know, Public Works, had left us earlier in this winter. We've been contracting out with Gardner Construction for the entire plowing of the town. I'm gonna recommend that we continue doing that. And we step back from really plowing any of the town roads. Gardner's been doing 60 miles while we've been doing about 14. I feel we should just allow Gardner to do the entire town. For what it was costing us, really in just equipment and maintenance and upkeep, not so much people, but just really the cost of us to do the plowing ourselves, I felt was a lot. So with this budget, it would be 1 full-time Public Works maintenance supervisor type of position. Even though we don't have Public Works now, a lot of the staff has been picking up the slack in certain areas, whether it be calls we may get for roadkill or just all kinds of things, you know. Just have to plow in the parking lot, sanding and salting. There's a lot that the Public Works department does that a lot of people don't realize. So I do feel like we still need to have somebody around, you know, just to help take care of things.
Jesse's done a nice job stepping up on that, so.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, he has.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yep.
Just so I'm clear, I think what you're saying is 1 full-time position and then 1 summertime help. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I've been thinking 2 summertime, part-time workers. But I've just really kind of put it in there as a number, $20,000 for part-time help in the summer. And depending on amount of hours that we, you know, depends on who we can find. My thought is the job I used to have as a summer employee in Holt, you know, just somebody to go around and pick up litter and go down to Jackson Beach and make sure things are good down there, check the grounds, you know, just set a list of very small priorities or easy priorities to just go around town and do. So we can do 1 part-time. I was thinking a couple part-time, but depending on who's available to work.
And we'd be adding 1 full-time that's currently not, so you'll be posting a position to bring somebody on.
Correct. Yeah.
Do we know how much has been factored in or allocated for that full-time position, roughly?
As far as salary?
Right.
Salary, I believe I have right now in at $55,000. And it includes family medical, so health insurance, retirement, all that. Any more on Public Works?
You're good, Josh.
Okay. Solid waste, this is an increase of $135,238. Good portion of this is our roadside trash pickup. We've had an increase in that. We've realized an increase in that the last couple of years. Our recycling program, which is very popular. We have been getting a very good deal from Casella. And they have informed us that they're gonna be charging us a lot more money for the recycling this year. And by a lot, it's going from like $10,000 to about, I believe it was $40,000 or $50,000. Wow. So it's a huge increase,
That's a huge jump.
yeah.
They give a reason why they,
It's their true cost of doing business, and every community is in the same situation we are right now. And we, Casella has always treated us very fairly, and last year we had a large increase in our trash pickup for the same reasons. They're understanding more their bottom line and the exact cost of these programs, and they're starting to charge more appropriately, really. They've been losing money on these. We also had an additional increase in our sewer maintenance. So Bangor is no longer coming out to really help with the maintenance of our sewer infrastructure.
stations and stuff?
Thank you, pump stations. We have alarms go off, and we're gonna have to pay for more of that. Same idea as Casella. Like, they've been helping us out quite a bit.
so do we pay, so pump station goes right now. Who do we call? We call Bangor? Bangor come and do it and send us a bill, or?
Well, it had been in conjunction with Bangor, but where this is heading is Bangor is saying, Hermon, what's in Hermon you need to take care of. And what's in
So we
Bangor-
gotta find our own guys to do it? So
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of times right now, like we had a issue down on the end of Cedar Brook. We call Larry Frost, he takes care. So we deal with these regularly anyhow, but the costs are gonna increase. And Bangor is gonna expect us to take care of more of them as we go. And we'll
When
be
does that-
talking,
When does that contract come up with? Well, for the sewer with Bangor, and I know we've been negotiating, my man Scott's left the room, but they talking about negotiation like
Yeah,
a couple
we're-
years ago, so we
we're
move along at all, or?
we're actively negotiating that with them. We've started the process. And that will actually be a big item that we discuss as we go. We're not, I think we have another 2 years left. I believe it's 25 or 26 when it expires. So we're actively working on that right now to prepare for that. But there's some things that we need to do. We hear Scott talk about the I&I study on the infrastructure. So we have some work to do, but we're preparing for that right now. We met with Bangor Wastewater probably 2 months ago now to figure out where we're gonna end up. This is also gonna turn into the town starting to keep track of its own sewer users, and it will actually help with the revenue, because right now Bangor Wastewater charges just the minimum fee. They receive all the user fees, we don't see any of that. So in hiring the communications director position, it also is part-time in finance as well. So we were anticipating this was going to come up eventually, and that position will cover that part of the change in how we do things. So that will be coming short. There will be quite a bit of work that goes into that. The recreation and social services, that's down about $30,000. We're gonna be looking to move part of the rec budget into the rec enterprise budget, just based on their revenues. So it's really not a reduction other than where we account for it in the budget. And then finally, the special assessments. That is a projected increase on the county tax of about $100,000. We don't have a final number from them yet. That's what we saw for an increase last year, so that could be up or down a little bit,
Hopefully it's down a little bit.
hopefully down.
I have a couple of questions. The public works equipment, do you have any plan for those and how will that impact our finances?
Yeah, so we're actively looking to liquidate what we can from the Public Works Department. And we will be using that revenue to help offset CIP.
How many plow trucks do we have? The big,
We have a lot more
do
than
we
that.
have 4 or do we have 3?
We have 4 full-size trucks.
4,
I think 3 are equipped.
Do you need one to go with your
no.
fire truck?
But 3 10-wheelers and a 6-wheel, so we have,
I have to check, I don't know.
we bought 2 of them brand new,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Were they brand new?
We bought 2 of them brand new. Yeah, I remember the arguments.
I remember that was going on.
Discussions.
Discussions.
But we're, and I'm working with Randy, for him to say what equipment we have that we don't need, what equipment we have that we don't utilize. I do see us trying to use the transfer station a little bit more, not necessarily for garbage. But we had some people ask about Christmas trees this past winter. We've got a big chipper out back. I think if we kept the transfer station open in the wintertime, keep it plowed out, that'd be a good place to drop trees. And then we can chip them up when needed. So I think we have some equipment now that we don't use that we could utilize more with this model for Public Works. We have the equipment to do our roadside mowing if we wanted to. That has increased a lot, I feel, over the last couple of years. So that may be an option to look at doing that ourselves. So I think we have some possibilities down there with the equipment that we have. But what we don't need, I'm planning to sell.
And then, can you elaborate on the large road project that's coming off the books? And do we have any upcoming large road projects? So is this like just a 1-year decrease and it's gonna come back for some other area, or what are you
No.
thinking?
Yeah, this was the large project, Logistics Lane down in Matthews Brothers, that road work down there. Too bad Scott left already, but it has been in our budget for the last 2 years at least, if not longer. And it's finally complete. We don't need to keep carrying that project. But no, I don't feel that this is going down and then needing to go back up the very following year. Otherwise, I would have kept that in there.
And then going back to your the estimate for revenue, is that the total anticipated or projected increase in revenue, 149,800 for the entire year for next year?
Mhm.
Okay.
But this is, like I said, this is very early on, so I was very conservative on this because we have, I'm trying to get us off of potentially dipping into our fund balance if we don't have to. So that is part of it, but so overall with this increased revenue, we only see about a $50,000 net increase to the residents.
On the city side,
Correct.
town side.
On the downside.
And then, what was the increase in revenue last year, or this year that we're currently in, sorry? Our current fiscal year. What was it budgeted at?
I wanna say it was close to $500,000 last year. Our increased revenue from. Are you asking from what we realized from 23 to 24?
What we budgeted from 23 to 24, and then are we on track for that increase in revenue?
Yes, yeah, we're on track for the revenues. The revenues increased last year, I don't know by how much. I'd have to check on that.
I just wanna say that was really well presented, easy to follow, and I appreciate the detailed answers, thank you.
And I would take any recommendation on how you wanna see things, but that's easier this way, and then as we go, I can email out the entire budget, but I just didn't wanna get caught up in the weeds yet. That's it.
Okay, anybody else have any other questions? If not, we will go out of workshop. We will move on to the final public comments that are not already on the agenda, so if anybody's got anything to add, please step up.
Craig Newell, 40 State Road, Vernon. I just have one question. Since we saw that we're losing our town manager, is that going to be posted out to the public, or is that going to be something where you're going to hire someone to go look for someone, like a hiring person, to find the, I don't know how you're going to replace them, but find the next town manager.
The council's working on that right now.
Haley, Keith Hermon, Mr. Murphy, you said you were working on it, so you're working on going through the applications that have been submitted? And you said working on.
We are working on hiring somebody. I'm not gonna go any further than that because that's a personal decision right now.
I just haven't seen where it was posted, and
It doesn't have to be posted.
how could people apply if it's not posted?
I'm not gonna go any further on that right now. It's a personnel decision. It's solely up to the council how they do it.
So in a fair and equitable hiring environment for women and men to equally apply for a job position, you're saying that you're not posting the job position? How is that legal?
It is legal. There is no state statute on it, and according to our plans that we have, it's solely up to the council how they want to hire a town manager. I'm not
So
gonna go any further than that, so.
I just,
it's-
I see where you're going, and I just would like to share that our last town manager was hired and it wasn't posted as well. So, there's a historical,
just because we do it wrong or do it,
We're not doing it wrong. We're all done. We're all done talking about it right now.
well, I may have people who are interested in applying. And so I would like to know where to send them.
I don't think you really know anybody that wants to.
Wow.
Seriously. If you do, give me a call and give me their names.
I will have her call you, thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, we got one thing left to do. John, you wanna read it off for me?
council items.
Well, we'll go to, manager status report next, I guess, I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the council. I did want to formally announce to the public that I am intending to resign. Sorry. I'll get the hang of this just as I'm getting ready to leave, but I did just want to announce that I have formally resigned from my position. And I was gonna just read my resignation letter, for the public to know, but this is the letter I provided to the council, members of the council. I'm ready to formally resign from my position as town manager effective March 31st, 2024. It's been an honor serving the community, and I'm grateful for the experiences and opportunities provided during my tenure. I've thoroughly enjoyed working with the dedicated staff and collaborating with community members to enhance the town's well-being. However, after careful consideration, I've decided to pursue new challenges and opportunities that align with my professional goals. I'm committed to ensuring a smooth transition, and I'm willing to assist the handover process. If needed, I can stay on in a part-time role through July 1 to complete budget and annual town meeting for the fiscal year 2025. I appreciate the support and guidance I've received throughout my time as town manager, and I'm confident that the town will continue to thrive under capable leadership. Thank you for the privilege of serving as town manager. It's really been my pleasure. So I'm sure everybody knows, it's been out on Facebook. Once it hit the agenda this week, I wanted to post that. I was gonna wait till tonight to let everybody know, but I did feel it was appropriate to announce that prior to tonight, so. the resignation part, is official, and I did provide that last council meeting to the council. I wanted to just touch base on Bobby Pelletier. I just recognize him. It's been 2 years since we lost him. Just by chance happened to mention him earlier, this meeting, but it was a big loss for the community, and I just wanna ask everybody to keep his family and friends, just keep them in their prayers, and I do know they're still struggling with that. So I just wanted to recognize that, and I wanted to thank the planning board and town council for a great joint meeting on the 20th to discuss the solar ordinance. I thought it was very productive, and a lot of good came out of that meeting. So, thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Pleasure working with you. All right, we'll move on to council items. John?
I don't really have too much, but Josh, going forward, we're gonna miss you, that's for sure. Tried to talk you out of it, but it didn't work. Alright. But, thanks a lot for everything you did.
Danielle?
Same to all the points made, and I'm sure we'll say it again when we actually get to your last meeting. I've appreciated working with you. I've learned a lot. And I want to give a council update on the budget, the discussions with the school. I definitely feel that they are hearing what we're saying, and the messages that I'm saying are that we need to bring the budget in tighter and no longer continue to have the 5+% buffer between what is budgeted and what's actually expended. And I'm happy to say that that was heard loud and clear, and they're working on recalibrating some items in their budgeting development process to bring it in line to a 2%. And they're doing that through factoring in attrition factor, and then tightening up some of the items that they have found historically have been over budgeted, so not spent the degree that they thought it would. I don't know how many people know, but when Jamie came in, there were items identified as being put in wrong lines in the budget process, and so a lot of her first 2 years was spent on cleaning that up. So now we're starting to be able to slice and dice, I don't, but other people are, able to slice and dice the details of the report to look for those trends, because they're actually in the right places where they're supposed to be. So they're working on that. The other piece is, I was extremely happy to hear at today's meeting that they're committing, I should say the budget committee is committing to move any unused portion of the pull forward that they had budgeted for this year, which I believe was $1 million, correct me if I'm wrong. Any of that is unused, they're gonna actually move it into a reserve account. He had mentioned potentially towards the science department at the high school that needs to be done, so I was very encouraged to hear that, because it does look, from my early calculations and some of others, that they're gonna come in under budget in their expenditures, so that'll be a good chunk potentially towards that project. And he's looking to have the pull forward be in the dollar amount of $400,000 to $600,000. I guess $600,000 was what was historically happening before COVID happened, and he's even looking to maybe tighten it down to 400. So that seems like a reasonable buffer when you're working on a nearly $20 million budget. Seemed reasonable to me, so I was happy to hear that. And he has put forward a budget that brings the unassigned balance down to under 4%, which is really important, because actually when January 30th comes, if you're not targeting under 5%, you'll pop back up over it. So he's targeting it a little bit under 5%, which is again right where we want to be. And I believe with the recalibrating of the attrition factor and tightening up some areas where there's been some historical trends. I believe that we're probably gonna be the closest to hitting it that we've been recently. And right now, I believe the increase to the town was about 1.4%, maybe 1.38. So that's what we're looking at right now. And IT-wise, I know you all wanted updates on IT stuff to consider the budget. I asked Ron to maybe give that because I didn't attend the IT meeting today and there was no written report. Any counselors have any questions? I will be honest, I was hoping that the increase in revenue on the town side was gonna be, I'm looking at you, was gonna be a little higher. I was getting comfortable at 1.4% increase. Right, now I'm not so.
I think we'll get there, but I like I said, our finance department has been swamped to start the year, so we'll have some time the next couple months to really get a better idea on that.
And they're on target to have their first reading here at the council on time for March 28th.
Is that it, Danielle?
That's it.
Okay, Richard?
Again, I want to thank you for all the hard work you've done and making it easy for council to discuss matters with you. And I wish you good luck in your future endeavors.
Steve?
Yeah, I'd like to echo that. I think you came in at a very tough time for the town and you helped smooth things out and I want to appreciate that.
Same as all the rest of them, thank you for your service to the town, and it's been very appreciated and well welcomed. I think you did a great job, and wish you well in the future, your future plans. And just my heart goes out to the family of Sergeant Pelletier with the Sheriff's Office. Again, we mentioned 2 years have passed, and just wanted to make a point to say that we're thinking of his family today.
Josh, ditto what everybody else has said. You and I talk almost every day, you know, how I feel. I'm very proud of you of what you're gonna do. It's kind of scary when you step into something on your own. I've been there, done it, done that, and I'm really excited for you. I hope it works out. So,
Thank you.
just a little update on the IT. I went to the IT meeting today, and I was. It's the first time I got to meet Alex Briggs. He's a very nice individual, and I think he's going to do a great job. He's got some visions on stuff, and they're working on some programs. They've got a lot of stuff straightened out now. Listening to some of the principals speak, that they were really happy of the way that it's going. So I was glad to hear that, you know, that they're working on some timetables on stuff, and he's coming into a situation where he almost has to start from scratch. So I think he's doing a great job. That's all I have. John, you want to read the last thing for us, please?
Sure. Consider entering into executive session, discuss personnel matter, town manager position, per MSRA 4056A.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Kristen, will you vote?
Richard,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Danielle, yes, Ron,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Steve.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
She
We
moved.
are adjourned
First,
at
second.
8:38.
Dot.